If you're here, you probably realize it's not enough. It's not enough to just dream of growing your online store and setting goals. You probably quickly realize there's way more to it when it comes to growing an online product-based store. I failed many businesses and then finally made my first 275K my first year. Today is the day I'm gonna share 5 things that I learned along the way that really helped me grow as a beginner. And as always, if you don't know me, my name is Nickia, and I grew a business to all the way to $1.4 million selling on Amazon, and now help others start their online product-based stores. If you want to have one thing, I'm gonna tell you, start creating a habit when it comes to perseverance. Perseverance is one of those things, once you develop, it helps you to keep that drive. It helps you to build willpower, especially when times get tough. You want to build that no matter what mindset. If business was easy, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be getting success. No one would ever give up. People would just be like, yes, let's go on to the next project. But we all know it ain't like that. And yes, it's easy to start a business. It's easy to get everything up and running. But you want to know the hardest part is to continue and persevere, especially when times get tough. So I thought of looking at the meaning of perseverance so we could really let the meaning of perseverance sink in. All perseverance means is pushing through difficult times or despite delayed achieved success. So listen right here. If you focus on the difficult moments and you focus on the things that you haven't achieved yet, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna get discouraged real quick. Because what that means is when you're focusing on the parts that is not happening the way you want it to, it means that you're emphasizing in making the difficulties seem bigger than achieving your dream, which therefore leaves you feeling that it seems harder and longer to get to your dreams, which obviously makes you not want to do it. When have you looked at a marathon and felt like, oh, I just want to do it, right? You don't focus on the length of it, you focus on doing it step by step. A part of having perseverance is learning to do the things that you need to do no matter what. No matter how you're feeling, no matter how it seems or how the situation portrays itself. Don't focus on the difficulties. Don't focus on the fact that you haven't reached your goals yet. Remind yourself of the reason why you started it. Was it to quit that job? Was it because you wanted a little more oomph in your life? You know what I mean? Or you want to travel a little more? And just reminding yourself of why you're doing it is those reasons why it's going to keep you going. Because you're going to be like, I want to get to here. This is where I want to get to. And I don't want to stay here. Let go of the time frame. Let go of the expectations you're setting upon yourself and just be, just do, and get to where you need to go. That's it. And I'm gonna give you a little kicker right here. The reason why beginners fail is they choose to focus on the things that don't matter. They choose to focus on the negative things. And guess what happens? They lose that momentum. Don't let that be you. This was only the first one, y'all. We still have 4 to go. Stay with me. Delayed gratification. Hello. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about delayed gratification. So you're gonna start that business, you're gonna get all excited, and guess what's gonna happen? All of a sudden, you're gonna get some random distraction that's gonna be calling your name to do something else because you're not getting the gratification yet from your business. And all these distractions is gonna pop up, and it's gonna be like, oh no, focus on me now. Don't focus on the business. And here's what you need to do. You have to stop working on your business based on a feeling. Because it ain't a feeling. All feelings does is it keeps you further and further away from your dreams. So if you do everything based on feelings, guess what? Those actions aren't happening. The reality is that we're lazy people and we rather do other things. We rather have shiny object syndrome. That's just the reality of things. One of the biggest things you could do right now is learn to do the things that you need to do that's necessary to get you to where you want to go and delay that gratification. Delayed gratifications until you are exactly where you need to be, until you are reaching your goal. And don't use this as an excuse to be like, well, I don't have any time for myself, Nickia. And I'm like, that ain't it. And I'm not saying for you to not make any time for yourself. Learn to resist the small things that's keeping you from the bigger reward. Do the things or the bigger things or the boring things or the stuff that's keeping you bored until you get to that goal. When I didn't feel like doing nada, and I was like, I don't feel like doing that task, I'd rather do something else right now. You know, something like Netflix, for example. But here's the interesting thing. When I started doing the task anyways, even when I didn't feel like it, guess what happened? I felt better. I felt like a new woman. And it becomes an addiction. You just want to keep on doing the task that you don't feel like doing so you can get that feeling. And you do it over and over until it becomes a habit, until you don't need to feel like doing something and you just do it because you're so attached to your goal. That's what you want to get to, is you want to be attached to the results. Have a strong why. And hold on here, hold up. This is not the typical why where it's based on something external and you're like, I want to do my why so I can make a better life for my family and make a better life for my kids or make a better life for Jerry. It ain't that. What I mean by a strong why is creating a why that's specifically for you internally. Because let's be real, if external whys was enough, people wouldn't quit. People would do their business because they have 2 kids that they want to care for, and they would never quit because they would be like, you know what, I'm doing this for the 2 little ones. But that's not the case. You need to have a very strong why that's internal to you, that's just for you, of why you're doing it. Like, what's the reason why you need to build that business, why you need to achieve that dream. It needs to be something that you actually want, that you remind yourself, so that when every time you feel like quitting, you look back to that why and you're like, oh no, we're gonna keep on going. When I lost that job and ran out of time, guess what kept me going? You wanna know what kept me going? Was I kept on telling myself, I don't wanna go back to a job. I don't wanna go back to a soul-sucking job that's not paying me well, going back into the same cycle over and over again. And every time I wanted to quit when I started my store, I thought back to that thought, that why. And I'm like, I ain't going back. I'm moving forward. I ain't going back to that lifestyle of feeling all stuck, living paycheck to paycheck. And I will tell you, that kept me on track. That kept me on that path because of that strong why that was meant for me, that what made me curl up when I thought about it, that made me keep on going and be like, oh hell no. And there's something so powerful when you build a strong why that comes straight from the heart. And the why is connected to what you want and what you don't want, and it's very clear. The reason why people fail is because they forget about the why that they originally created, because it was so external that it didn't scratch that itch. So when you see someone stops doing what they're doing, is because their why wasn't strong enough, right? They're not getting that itch. So when they stop doing what they're doing, it scratches that itch. So you want to create a why that it makes you not want to even go back. It's so deep that you know exactly what you want and what you don't want. That's how deep you want it. Dang, that was deep. As always, if this video has been helpful, like the video and text YouTube to the number in this screen to get a next level training on starting your store and getting it going. Strategy, strategy, strategy. All strategy means is it's a plan of action. So when you start a business, you don't have a plan of action. So therefore, you don't know what exactly to do every day. And so what happens is then you build this routine where every day you're trying to figure out what the heck you should be doing. And it gets to the point where you get so exhausted from trying to figure out what to do every day that eventually you get discouraged and then you stop. That sounds exhausting, just telling you this part. So basically you have to cut out that part of you always trying to figure out, okay, what action should I take today? No. You need to get super crystal clear on what you need to do every day. One of the reasons why I succeeded with my plan of action is I had a plan of action and I believed in a plan of action. There was no room for worry. There was no room to be like, you know what, this is not working because it's only been a week, and just stop. There was no room for that because I was like, Nickia ain't going back to a job. I had a very strong why So I stuck with that plan of action until it worked. The reason why you fail is because you stop doing the plan of action. So if you stop doing the plan of action, how do you expect it to work? And let's give the worst case scenario. Where's the worst case scenario? If the plan, God forbid, did not work, here's what will happen. You'll just basically find solutions. You'll get bigger and better ideas, and you would keep on going until something worked. You would start tweaking, because that's how our brain works. You're in that flow. You're in that flow of taking action. The reason why people fail is because they just want to sit there and wait for that magical idea. And so they stop taking action. So then they're no longer inspired. And so they're just waiting for the idea. But really what happens is that you have to get inspired first. You have to start taking action first, and then you get the idea. It's actually the other way around. The ideas come when you start taking action. It never comes from inaction. You first do what you know first, what you are knowledgeable about. You start to grow. You start to learn more knowledge, right? Because you start getting determined, you start building interest, you start building passion, and you start to just develop your skills as you start to do, because you get determined, because you want to make it. It's that growth mindset mentality. You're not staying stagnant. You're not staying at the same level. You're taking action, and then you're growing with your knowledge, you're growing your mindset, and you're just in an all growth flow. Being solution oriented will take you so far. That word is thrown around so much, right? Everyone says it. Oh, you have to be solution oriented. And you see it in jobs, and you see it in business. People just say you have to be solution oriented. And it's like, what does that mean? What are you saying? What does that mean? Please break it down. All that means is that when something is not going your way, or you're experiencing failure, you take that opportunity to learn from it. And then you find a solution that will help you get closer to your goals for your business. And then find a new solution that will help you to get to your goal that you haven't achieved yet. What's going to drive your business is learn to find solutions, or in simpler terms, learn to create a new plan, especially when the first plan doesn't work. So you're always on your toes here, and it doesn't mean you give up when something doesn't work. You get back up and you recreate a new plan and take new action to get you back on course and get you closer to where you want to go. I want you to take in this story that I'm going to share with you. When everyone told me that in January is slow and it's nothing you could do about it, I almost believed it. And because I was experiencing a very slow online store, until I saw other stores killing it, doing multiple six figures in January. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, so this is not completely true. Though it is a norm, it doesn't mean it's true. So I kept on asking myself, okay, how can I come up with a solution so that way in the next January or first quarter, I don't go through the same exact thing? How can I overcome this? How can I better prepare? And guess what? I got the answer to it, and then I doubled down. And guess what happened? I ended up tripling my sales, yo. And that's when I realized it has nothing to do with what people say. It's about you finding a solution and trying to do better, because a lot of people will just settle for whatever everyone else is doing and just use that as an excuse to the reason why they're not where they want to be. But the reality is that if you create a plan and you find a solution, there's always a will, there's always a way. After that experience, I now tell everyone I come across that just because something is a certain way doesn't mean you have to believe it.